stage 1 is transonic. Landing legs have deployed. And Falcon 9 has landed.
You're currently looking at a live view of the Falcon 9 set to lift off at 11:48 p.m. Pacific Time from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us once again for our coverage of the Transporter-7 mission. Yesterday, we had to stand down from our launch attempt due to unfavorable weather, but it's looking much better tonight with less than 5% probability of violation. In case you forgot, I'm Jesse Anderson. I'm joining you from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, just a few hours south of our launch site. Now tonight, we are launching SpaceX's 7th dedicated smallsat rideshare program mission, which marks our 24th launch for this year and 224th mission of all time. Now on this flight are 51 spacecraft, including CubeSats, microsats, hosted payloads, and orbital transfer vehicles carrying spacecraft to be deployed at a later time. There will be a total of 36 deployments made between 2 deployment sequences. The first deployment sequence will begin around the T+1 hour mark and will last approximately 20 minutes. Now, we are expecting to lose ground station coverage partway through the first deployment sequence, so only a few of our deployments will be visible today. However, when we're back in range of ground stations, we do expect to have telemetry and hear audio confirmation over the nets. The second and last deployment will happen at the T+2 hour and 35 minute mark after additional second stage burns. At T-10 minutes and about 30 seconds from liftoff, the vehicle is healthy, and we're currently working no issues and looking good for an on-time liftoff tonight. Weather is green, the range is ready to support our T0 of 11:48 p.m. Pacific time. If for some reason we do not launch today, we do have another opportunity tomorrow at the same time.
Good evening. I'm Somi Srivastava, a structures engineer here at SpaceX. And on your screen is a live view of the Falcon 9, which is a reusable 2-stage rocket, which rolled out to the pad and went vertical very early yesterday morning. Starting from the bottom of the rocket, we have our 9 M1D engines connected to the first stage. These 9 Merlin engines help accelerate the vehicle through the thickest part of the Earth's atmosphere and into space. These engines are connected to the largest part of the vehicle, or the first stage, which is referred to as the booster. The first stage supporting our mission tonight is flying for its 10th time tonight, having previously launched Sentinel-6 Michael Freilich, DART, and 7 Starlink missions. Above the first stage is the second stage, which has a single Merlin vacuum, or MVAC engine, which ignites after the first stage separates. The second stage is what will carry our 51 spacecraft to their intended orbits in space. During today's mission, you will notice a shorter nozzle extension attached to our MVAC engine. And going forward, our teams plan to use this shorter nozzle when we don't need as much performance to get the payload to its final destination. But don't worry, the larger nozzles that you're so used to seeing are not going away forever, and we will still fly the full-sized MVAC nozzles on missions that require a more significant amount of thrust from stage 2 or ones that contain a heavier payload. So keep an eye out for that view after stage separation. And at the very top of the rocket, you'll notice the large structure with the pointed nose at the top of the second stage, and that is our payload fairing. Fairing is made up of 2 carbon composite halves and protects the payload on their way to orbit and will be jettisoned around 3 minutes into flight. The rideshare payloads are currently safely enclosed inside of the 17-foot diameter fairing, with each half flying today being flight proven. One half is flying for the second time and the other a 5th time.
Speaking of payloads, on board the Falcon 9 today, we have a main payload located at the top of the stack for our customer, Tubitaku Zai. The Imedja spacecraft is the 4th satellite manufactured by Tubitaku Zai, which is the space branch for the Scientific and Technological Research Council of Turkey. Imedja in Turkish means collaboration or collective work, as it was a project that was worked on by several institutions and holds great significance in the Turkish culture. With that, here's a video highlighting our main payload. Our goal with these missions is to provide small satellite operators competitive pricing, increased flight opportunities, and flexibility. We're flying some really cool payloads on this mission, including several different types of Earth observation spacecraft, collecting greenhouse gas emission data, hyperspectral imaging, student research projects, and orbit-changing vehicles. It's pretty incredible how even the smallest satellites can make meaningful contributions to take care of planet Earth and our efforts to visit other worlds. We're looking forward to providing a great ride to space for these 51 payloads on board today in just a few minutes from now.
We're currently T-minus 4 minutes and 50 seconds from liftoff, and on your screen is the payload fairing and the second stage. In about 40 seconds, we should see the TE clamp arms, which are right below the fairing, open up in preparation for the strongback to retract slightly away from the rocket until the hydraulics pull the TE even further away from Falcon 9 at T0 as it lifts off the pad. The TE, or transporter reactor, is the structure that provides liquids, gases, electrical connections to the second stage, as well as air conditioning to the payload fairing. At this point, both the first and second stages are nearly fully loaded with 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen at around T-minus 3 minutes when we will hear the call out for liquid oxygen load completion on stage 1, and around T-minus 2 minutes when we hear the call out for liquid oxygen load completion on stage 2. It is a bit cloudy, but the clamp arms have begun to open, and the strongback is beginning to recline away from the vehicle. And we should be hearing the call out for liquid oxygen load completion coming up on the first stage in about 17 seconds from now. And then at the T-minus 2 minute mark, we should hear that same call out for stage 2.
Stage 1 lock load complete.
And there's that call out right there for liquid oxygen load completion on stage 1.
Next event coming up will be at the T-minus 2 minute mark, and that's when prop loading will complete on second stage, and that will conclude prop loading for Falcon 9. At that point, we will have 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen on the vehicle. That event is coming up here in just about 20 seconds. Currently just waiting for the call out for liquid oxygen loading conclusion on second stage.
Stage 2 lock flow complete.
And perfect timing, there's that call out. Now that we're done loading prop onto the vehicle, we will begin to vent out the liquid oxygen line on the transporter vector. And there you can see there's a better view, that venting happening there from the TE. Next up will be Falcon 9 in startup at the T-minus 1 minute mark. That's where the internal flight computers take over the launch countdown. This vehicle is autonomous, so starting at the T-minus 1 minute mark, the vehicle will be fully autonomous through the mission. We will also begin to pressurize the vehicles for launch at the T-minus 1 minute mark.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And great call out. Now just waiting for the final call from the launch director.
LD is go for launch.
Great news. All systems are go for launch of Falcon 9 with all 51 payloads on Transporter 7.
T-minus 30 seconds. Seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition, engines full power, and liftoff of Transporter-7. Go Falcon, go Transporter.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion nominal.
T plus 30 seconds into flight, and Falcon 9 has cleared the tower at Space Launch Complex 4 East. We're currently throttling down the engines in preparation for Max Q. Max Q is the maximum
Nominal power and telemetry.
Max Q is the maximum aerodynamic pressure the vehicle will see on ascent. That's the largest structural load on the vehicle.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Good call-outs there, and we are coming up on Max Q in just a few seconds from now.
Max Q.
Great news, we've passed through Max Q. Now with that, we do have a few events coming up here back to back. That will be MECO stage separation, stage 1 flip, SES-1.
MVAC chill has started.
And the start of the boost back burn. Now MECO is main engine cutoff. That's where we will shut down all of those engines that you are seeing lit up on your screen. That will help slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation. Stage 1 will begin to make its journey back to Earth with stage 1 flip and the boost back burn. And the second stage will ignite the MVAC engine for the first time with SES-1 or second stage engine start 1. And as a reminder, once we have stage separation, we should be able to see the shorter nozzle in there. You can actually see it on your screen. Again, we are flying a shorter nozzle for this mission. And you can see it there on your screen. And we are preparing for a few events coming up. MECO stage separation, S1 flip, or stage 1 flip, SES-1, and the boost back burn on the first stage.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
Stage 1 boost back startup.
And incredible views there. We've had MECO stage separation. The first stage vehicle has performed its flip maneuver and has started up its boost back burn. And on your right-hand screen, what an incredible view. You could see the shorter MVAC nozzle there and that MVAC engine burning extremely bright on the screen. And we are coming up on fairing separation.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Perfect timing. You saw the fairing halves separating from the second stage. As they make their way back down to Earth, we will attempt to recover them. And again, just incredible views on your screen. On the left-hand side, you can see the boost back burn for the first stage vehicle.
Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
And great call out. That concludes the boost back burn of the first stage as you saw that engine shut down. And on your right-hand screen, that MVAC engine is still burning bright. Now the next major milestone coming up will be the entry burn on the first stage, which is scheduled to occur around the T plus 6 minute mark.
We're currently in our first of 4 MVAC burns, and this burn should last until about T plus 8 minutes and 19 seconds.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
There's that call out. You can see that engine 9 has relit for entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And we have had
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
And we have had a successful entry burn. During landing burn, 3 of the Merlin engines will relight, engines 1, 5, and 9, to produce enough thrust.
Stage 1 transonic.
To produce enough thrust to slow down Falcon right before touchdown.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Great call out there. That landing burn has begun. You can see it right there.
Landing led deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And as you saw and probably heard, we had a successful first stage landing at landing zone 4. Successful cutoff.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Today's landing marks this booster's 10th landing and our 185th overall landing of an orbital class rocket. Next up, we are expecting the shutdown of the second stage MVAC engine.
MVAC shutdown.
And there it is, right on time. Coming up next, we have the second burn of our MVAC.
Nominal parking orbit.
We have the second burn of our MVAC engine on board the second stage around the T plus 57 minute mark. We'll be back in about 45 minutes to bring you live coverage of SES-2, followed shortly after by the first 35 payload deployments. Enjoy the tunes, and we'll see you soon.
Looks like I lost the signal, Vandy.
the biggest story of the year. This launching of the Russian satellite, which brings into the realm of possibility all those wild science fiction stories of interplanetary travel. It's fascinating.
The world may never be the same again.
And TNOC SpaceX, feel free if we need to revert over to the file first and then switch back to slave tracking. Acquisition signal Mauritius. Acquisition of signal HBK.
Powerful thrust from the ROV sends the lone assembly up to the dense stratosphere. The first rocket is then dropped its fuel exhausted. The second rocket ignites and takes off. Second rocket burns on. The third and last one takes over. Final thrust will carry the satellite into its closing